Hey, blessings, Grateful family. Welcome in. Welcome back to the Grateful Gab Podcast. Got the daily verse coming, and then I begin into today's topic of discussion based on angels, right? That's what we're going to begin discussing angels today. Different things that angels do, who they are, right? What they represent, how they're structured, and just insight to how they help us out and how they serve Jehovah each and every day. It's truly amazing. A daily verse for the day of November 16, 2025 derives from the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 32, and it states as follows. The one slow to anger is better than a mighty man, and the one controlling his temper than one conquering a city. Amen. And again, that's from the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 32. Today's episode is being brought to you by Sugarcane Sweet Shop. So, angels, right? Well, what are angels, right? Angels. Well, in the Hebrew word, angels are known as malak, Malakh, malak. And in the Greek terms, the word Agelos, Aggelos, Agelos literally means messenger. So angels are sons of God, and also they play a unique role in relaying Jehovah's message. Right. The word angel or malak in the Hebrew terms, in the Greek Agelos is indicated nearly 400 times in the Bible, right? So when the spirit messages are indicated, the words are translated angels. So the messengers, right? Jehovah's messengers. Angels are sometimes termed spirits, right? They're termed spirits. That which is spirit is invisible and powerful. Thus we read, a spirit came out and stood before Jehovah. Are they not all spirits for public service? That's from the book of First Kings, chapter 22, verse 21. And also in the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 14 says, are they not all spirits for holy service, sent out to minister for those who are going to inherit salvation? Right? Minister, those messengers. So what are the angels made up of? Right? Well, of course, they're made up of Holy Spirit. They're directly created through the means of Jehovah God and Jesus Christ, right? And they have order and rank, right? As with visible creations, right? So also the invisible realm, there's order and rank among the angels, right? The foremost angel, which a lot of us know about and holds to the highest regard as for ourselves and amongst the angels, is Michael, right? The archangel. It refers to Michael in several different scriptures of the Bible, from the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 13, right? It speaks about the prince of the royal realm of Persia stood in opposition to me for 21 days. But then Michael, one of the foremost princes, came to help me, and I remained there beside the kings of Persia. Right. Also, pointed out in Revelation chapter 12, verse 7, it says, and war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels battled with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels battled. Right. So, as we know, Michael is referred to as the heavenly form of Jesus Christ before he came to the earth, right? So because of his preeminence and his being called the great prince who is standing in behalf of the sons of God's people, he is presumed to be the angel that led Israel through the wilderness. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 through 23, it says, verse 20 says, I am sending an angel ahead of you to guard you on the way and to bring you into the place that I have prepared. Pay attention to him and obey his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he will not pardon your transgressions because my name is in him. Right? So, how fitting is it that not only Jesus was a representative for the Israelites in the angelic form as Michael, but also how was sent ahead of uh he was sent ahead for the Israelites during that time before Jehovah's kingdom comes to the earth, right? So there's more connection to see how Jesus is the archangel Michael. Well, from the archangel, right? Then there are the seraphs, Seraphs, the seraphs. From the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, verse 2 and verse 6 mentions the seraphs. It says, Isaiah chapter 6, verse 2 says, seraphs were standing above him. Each had 6 wings. Each covered his face with two, and covered his feet with two, and each of them would fly about with two. Verse 6 of the same chapter says, at that, one of the seraphs flew to me, and in his hand was a glowing coal that he had taken with tongues from the altar. Right? So the position of the seraphs, right? Um, Spirit creature stationed above Jehovah's throne in the heavens, right? What an honor to be alongside Jehovah's, throne, right? To be in a commander role for the heavens of the armies, right? The army of the heavens, excuse me. So, and this is referenced some 90 times in the scriptures, right? And also in the scriptures, it mentions the cherubs. And from the description of their duties and responsibilities, it is apparent that they too hold a special position among the angels. The first instance of the cherubs was mentioned in Genesis chapter 3, verse 24, and it says, so he drove the man out, and he posted at the east of the Garden of Eden the cherubs and the flaming blade of a sword that was turning continuously to guard the way to the tree of life. Right? So those cherubs held its position as warriors, as warrior angels, those who were there in a position to guard, mentioned in Genesis chapter 3:24, to guard the entrance to the Garden of Eden. Right? Then there's a great body of angelic messengers who serve as a means of communication between Jehovah and man. Right? But they do way more than just simply relay messages. Right? As deputies and agents of Jehovah's most high kingdom, they serve as responsible executioners of divine purpose. All right. Be it protection or deliverance for Jehovah's people, or destruction of the wicked ones, right? Genesis chapter 19, verses 1 through 26 speaks about those angels who arrived in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? It says, the 2 angels arrived at Sodom by evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the earth. Well, what did those 2 angels do? Those 2 angels wiped out an entire city, right? Those 2 angels wiped out an entire town, right? No blood, no nothing, no, just dead, right? And that's just 2 angels. So imagine what Jehovah's army is going to do when he sends the full force of his army out of the heavens to destroy Satan and the wicked ones, right? But also, angels have personalities, right? As we all know, the angel Gabriel, right? Michael and Gabriel are the 2 names of angels that we specifically know, right? So the fact that their 2 names were given, established the point of sufficiency, right? Knowing who they are. Are you enjoying today's episode? This episode of the Grateful Gab Podcast is proudly sponsored by Sugarcane Sweet Shop. At Sugarcane Sweet Shop, every dessert is made with love, creativity, and a sprinkle of sweetness. From the signature cookies and cupcakes to custom cakes for every occasion, Sugarcane is available to make your moments a little more special. Follow them on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Sugarcane Sweet Shop to see what's fresh from the oven. And don't forget to treat yourself today. Right? The lack of more names was a safeguard against giving undue honor and worship to these creatures. Right? But angels are dispatched by God as agents to act in regards to his name. So angels represent Jehovah's name. But yet Jehovah distinguish the importance of these 2 angels, right? Michael being the archangel and Gabriel being that amazing messenger to come in and approach Mary and let her know that she would bear the son for Jehovah, those type of things. So um excuse me. So they have personalities, right? As personalities, angels have the power to communicate with one another, the ability to talk various languages of men, right? As mentioned in the book of Numbers, as mentioned in the book of Daniel, chapter 4, verse 23, right, where it points out, and the king saw a watcher, a holy one, coming down from the heavens, who was saying, chop down the tree and destroy it, but leave the stump with its roots in the ground. with a banding of iron and of copper among the grass of the field, and let the dew of the heavens make it wet, and let its portion be with the beast of the field until 7 times pass over it. Right? So they was able to communicate with anybody Jehovah needed them to communicate with, they were able to do that. Right? Uh, it is true that angels are sexless, right? They are mentioned as sons of God, right? But they are not male or female, right? They don't have a sex, but they are mentioned, they are referenced in the scriptures as sons of God. Um, but because Jehovah made them, they are impersonal forces, right? Angels are generally angels are generally represented as males, and when materializing it's always in the male form because God and his son are spoken of as males. However, when certain materialized angels indulged in the pleasures of sex in the days of Noah, they were expelled from Jehovah's heavenly courts. Here was a display of angelic individuality. For like humankind, they too are free moral agents with the power of personal choice between right and wrong. Hence, that's why we have Satan and demons, right? Jehovah uh, gave them free will, and that's why Satan rose up and rebelled against Jehovah and Jesus, which he ultimately failed. But again, their powers and privileges are, far superior than what we can ever even imagine, right? So man, we are a little lower than angels, right? Jehovah loves us, but our power and our understanding are nowhere near what angels understand, right? Hebrews chapter 2, verse 7 points it out. It says, "You made him a little lower than angels. You crowned him with glory and honor and appointed him over the works of your hands." Right? So us as humankind, we're right under angels, but yet we still have powers and privileges given by Jehovah to us, right? So, as we follow along, right, angels have a greater mental capacity than us, as I just mentioned, right? They are almost of a superhuman power, right? It says, "Bless Jehovah, O you angels of his mighty in power, carrying out his word." Angelic knowledge and power were displayed when two angels brought flaming destruction upon Sodom and Gomorrah. Again, a single angel killed 185,000 of the Assyrian army, right? Like, I mean, so the speeds they travel, right? Everything the angels do is far more than what we're capable of doing. But yet Jehovah values us as well as he values his sons, right? Which is an amazing thing. So, as Jehovah ministers, the angels have enjoyed many privileges during the eons of passing time, right? Angels minister on behalf of Abraham, Jacob, Moses, Joshua, Isaiah, Daniel, Zechariah, Peter, Paul, and John, and to mention many, many more, right? Their messages contributed toward the writing of the Bible, right? In Revelation, angels are mentioned far more times than in any other Bible book. Innumerable angels were seen around the great throne of Jehovah. Seven blew the seven trumpets, while another seven poured out the seven bowls of God's anger. An angel flying in mid-heaven had everlasting good news, but another proclaimed, "Babylon the Great has fallen." Right? Revelation chapter 5, verse 11, chapter 7, verse 11, chapter 8, verse 6, chapter 14, verse 6 and 8, and chapter 16, verse 1, all in the book of Revelation. So in contrast and in final overview, right? Not only does Jehovah, not only do the angels serve Jehovah and serve Jesus, they help serve us too. They help and support us as well, right? From the beginning to the end, the holy angels of God follow the earthly sojourn of Jesus with extreme interest, right? They announce his conception and birth again uh, through the account where they approached those shepherds in the field when they told them that Jesus had been born, and all the angels were singing praises of song in the heavens, they appeared to those shepherds in the field, right? Also, an angel strengthened him when he prayed in Geshima on his final night as a human, right? Helped and supported Jesus, right? So they do the same things for us. They help us, right? They strengthen us, right? They came to Jesus' aid after his 40 days when he was fasting. They came and ministered to him, right? They do the same thing for us when we are in a place of distress or down. Jehovah sends his angels out to help us, to be those shepherds for us, to call out for us, to send those messages of hope and love that Jehovah declares. So do not despise the role of the angels, right? Look forward and appreciate what they do for us, because angels are accompanying Jesus Christ, right, when he comes for judgment, and the angels are uh seeing us the same way Jesus Christ sees us, right? They're everlasting workers. They take no days off. They're always around us. They're always helping us. Myriads and myriads of angels, and they help us battle against the wickedness, right? When Satan rebelled against Jehovah and Jesus hurled him and his demons down to the earth, well, the angels took note of that. The angels knew that we were going to be in a vulnerable state. Jehovah knew that we were going to be in a vulnerable state. Jesus knew that we were going to be in a vulnerable state. But yet they were able to keep that in mind and execute the things Jehovah asked them to do, right? Flawlessly. So let's continue to rely on the angels. Let's appreciate what they do and understand that when we die, right, we don't become angels, right? 144,000 people, when it's all said and done, will be resurrected, and they will be they will descend, they will ascend to a heavenly throne alongside Jesus Christ, and they will become angels at that point, and work alongside him in the heavenly government arrangement. But when we die, we don't just become angels, right? Jehovah, he created angels in the beginning before mankind, so he don't need humans to become angels to create more angels, right? So we have to be aware of that, and we have to understand that, just as it tells us in Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 5, for the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing at all, nor do they have any more reward, because all memory of them is forgotten. Right? So we don't when we die, we don't go to heaven in a sin and our spirit becomes an angel. We don't do that. Right? But we are in line for prospect to be remembered by Jehovah, so that when Armageddon does come, we are in line to receive his blessings. We are honored and privileged to finally see the angels who work in the shadows and work in the visible spirit realm will finally be rewarded to be able to see them and see their effort and see what they do for Jehovah. And that'll motivate us as newly perfect human beings to try to give the same effort that they give Jehovah, because we'll be perfect and we can kind of live up to that, but yet we'll still be in a place to where it will be honored to see all the angels work and all Jehovah's work come to fruition. So love y'all, be blessed, take care of yourselves, and until next time, peace.